Hello guys, and welcome back to another episode of Game Walkthrough Review, and today we're looking at the game Osmos. It's created by a company called Hemisphere Games, and this particular game that I'm bringing to you has had an awful lot of good reception. In fact, it's won quite a few indie awards, and a lot of praise for it, for its concept and the way that the game works. Now, I have played this game to completion, however, I only have done that on my other computer, and for some reason the saves hasn't transferred over to this machine. However, I have played enough on this machine to show you the three different types of leveling that you find. We'll quickly walk through the ambient level. This is a very basic and rather simple version of the way that the game works. So we are this little blob. We represent basic and primitive life, essentially, and the aim of the game is to get bigger by absorbing other entities in our environment. Now, as you can see, as we move around, we eject matter from ourselves. Now, this is a very important game mechanic, because basically what happens is you need to basically spend your mass in order to gain more mass, which is a rather intriguing concept. And the more mass that you absorb, the more likely you are to be able to absorb other pieces of mass. And basically, the more massive you are, you will then be more likely to survive. This is basically the fundamentals of the way that the game works, and this is basically the way that it works in ambient mode. However, it can get a lot more taxing as the levels progress. And I'll have a little show of the other type of level, which is called force reception. So instead of being a little entity living inside a rather static environment, we have basically an orbital type existence, whereby we are the little entity again. However, we are revolving around this mass in the middle. It is unabsorbable, so whoa. So it won't. Oh dear, our trajectory is dangerous. No, it's still dangerous. Oh, no, it's crazy. Hold on. Right, there we go. We have a stable orbit. It's very intriguing, but basically the principle is still the same. We want to become the biggest by absorbing the other creatures or entities or life forms or whatever they are. Force reception type levels can be tricky. I mean, this is the easiest of the levels, so you basically wouldn't find that it's all too taxing at this stage. The harder levels have larger entities, less smaller entities for you to absorb. The problem with the larger entities is, as with the small ones, you can absorb them and they become part of you. However, anything that's larger than you essentially absorbs you into their mass, which is basically the principle of osmosis. Now, these two types of levels are interesting. However, they add a completely different twist with the introduction of life. So now we can see we're in a little bit more of a less static environment in the ambient mode. However, all of these entities are not really running off their own power. They basically have been giving some force at the start of the level, but they're basically running on inertia, and over time they will wear out. However, there is a force or an entity on the level which is basically a life form, There we go. That was us getting absorbed. Now, this one basically wants to avoid being eaten by us, and it also will absorb other things, but at the moment this is a very low level life form. The higher life forms were basically hunter-seekers, so they'll behave in the way that we behave as we play the game. So we see something that we want to absorb, and we make our way towards them things, and make sure that we absorb them. The form of life that we have at this particular level is a lot less intelligent. I suppose is it intelligent? Not sure. But one thing I would like to really say about this game is that aside from the concept, the whole soundtrack and the way that the game works is really chilled out, and it's super cool. It's a very ambient, it's a brilliant game to just sort of sit and relax and play. Some levels require a lot of patience, in which case you can either speed up or slow down time as you may need to do. But it's a game that you could really enjoy. The game is available on the website, which details of are in the link below. But also it's available on Steam as well, which I might provide a link for as well. The game price, I think it's $10, which is not really very expensive for a game of this ilk. And it's you can see it's quite something. Its concept, like I said, is very intriguing. Let's speed it up a little bit there. This is amazing. There's a little life form spinning around, trying not to be absorbed by everything, particularly us. There we are. So there we have it. This is essentially Osmos, the brilliant osmosis game, where you are a simple, almost unicellular organism living inside a tiny little environment. It's amazing. You should go out and check it. Go check it. I've ordered you. Brilliant. Anyway, when we come back, guys, we'll have more game walkthrough review. I hope you've enjoyed today's episode, and I very much appreciate your audience. So until then, until next time, guys, stay safe, take care of yourself, and goodbye.